Another big week of developments has taken place for the storyline involving Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. So let's see all the new progress and everywhere this story could lead towards next. The current situation with Jade Cargill's backstage attack is a story that we've been loving to cover here on WrestlingWorldCC, because you can just tell that it has all these layers of mystery to it that WWE has yet to even start unwrapping. So the story is at a very intriguing point right now because it's still very early in the investigation process and a lot of different outcomes and possibilities are still all on the table. Let's do a quick recap and follow it up with the new progress and potential future outcomes. So Jade Cargill gets brutally attacked backstage. We're talking about a huge attack that has almost basically wiped Jade Cargill from the face of the earth. Jade Cargill has not spoken about this situation. She has not released a statement. She has not said her side of the story. She has not posted one single social media post at all since the attack took place. And fans that follow Jade Cargill on social media know this social media silence is very out of ordinary for her. She's usually very active with her fan base. She's posting Instagram stories of where she's at, posting about what she's doing, but she has gone fully radio silent for over a month now. And obviously her social media absence is directly connected to the storyline. She cannot really post anything right now or else it'll break some of the immersion with the on-screen storyline. So she's staying off social media to continue to build up the mystique of what's going on with her. Is she still in the hospital within the storyline? Is she recovering? They're keeping that element alive there with the social media absence. No one knows where Jade Cargill is at or what she's doing. And a big plot hole within the storyline, though, is the lack of communication between Bianca and Jade off screen. If they were close tag team partners, why can't Bianca pick up the phone and ask Jade Cargill about what she remembers from the attack? Get her on the line for more intel and more clues about the matter from the victim herself. Unless the story is that Jade Cargill is still just so out of it and has no memory of that night, then maybe that patches up that plot hole of why no one has spoken to Jade. But after Jade Cargill was attacked, Naomi confirmed herself on a social media post that she attempted to visit Jade Cargill's hospital room that same night on November 22nd, but was turned away by the hospital since they were only allowing family members to see Jade. And then in the weeks that followed that, Nick Aldis was moments away from stripping Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill of the women's tag team titles, but it's Naomi who is conveniently enough standing right there to volunteer to fill in for Jade Cargill. Naomi's pitch for filling in was that Bianca Belair has never relinquished anything in her life and she did not want Bianca to start doing it now. And that brings us to the December 20th edition of SmackDown, with Naomi and Bianca's first title defense as tag team champions. And a very nice detail here was that Naomi was refusing to actually touch her half of the titles until she did something to truly earn it, which is a very respectable gesture. Naomi was not going to snatch it from Bianca's hand and wear it around her waist because she did nothing up until that point to earn it. So Naomi didn't want to lay a finger on the title until after the match. And in the pre-match interview, Bianca says the last few weeks have been rough, but how she promises she's going to find out what happened to Jade Cargill. Bianca said she wasn't going to give the attacker what they wanted by relinquishing the titles. She was going to fight, and she was glad to have Naomi there to step in. Naomi said she knew how much the title meant to Bianca, Jade, and herself, so that's why she was going to go out there and fight for the titles as well. Naomi stuck to her word and did not lay a hand on the gold until she earned it. Naomi picked up the pinfall over Candice in the tag team titles match, completing that little story arc of saying that she won't touch the titles until she earned it. Naomi scored the match-winning pin, so Bianca came over to hand Naomi one of the tag team titles, and Naomi now gladly accepted it after feeling like she truthfully earned it. And then in a post-match interview on the SmackDown Lowdown, Bianca and Naomi said a few things that had fans wondering if a clue just slipped out of their mouths or were they referring to other things. In this post-match interview, Naomi acknowledges that it's a full circle moment for her, considering the hell of a history she has with the women's tag team titles, obviously a reference to how the titles and that entire situation there led to her walkout in 2022. So Naomi said it was great to be reunited with the titles after everything that has happened, but did say that the circumstances surrounding how the reunion happened were not the best, referring to Jade Cargill being taken out and attacked. Bianca also said that the circumstances are unfortunate, but she's happy to be with Naomi. Bianca said that there's no one else she'd rather do this with than Naomi. And that's one of those lines there that had fans scratching their heads is Bianca including Jade Cargill into that equation? Does she prefer Naomi over Jade Cargill? Fans are just trying to see if there's any hidden clues to look out for here in between the lines. And the next thing Bianca says is probably even more questionable than that. Bianca tells Naomi, right in the middle of this interview, that Naomi started all this, so it's only right that she gets to finish it off. What does Bianca Belair mean by that? It's a little vague and could be understood in many different ways. Maybe Bianca is referring to Naomi finishing her story, so to speak, and being reunited again with women's tag team titles. Or did Bianca slip up there and mean that Naomi literally started all this by attacking Jade Cargill in the first place, so Bianca was glad to see Naomi top it all off? It's just pretty funny because Bianca did literally say those words to Naomi. She turned right to her face and said, "You started this." So if Naomi is revealed to be the attacker way down the line, it's going to be a pretty ironic quote to look back on. So it's very unlikely that this was an actual solid clue and part of the story because, like we always say here on WrestlingWorldCC, the main story progressions usually happen on the main programs on television. It's unlikely they give away a crucial part of the storyline on the SmackDown Lowdown digital show, but that quote from Bianca was still just so bizarre that it's still worth talking about and mentioning. As far as what's actually going on in real life, reports still seem to indicate that Jade Cargill is legitimately injured, that it's allegedly serious, and there's no timetable for her return. So with Jade's status being up in the air and unknown, it looks like this storyline does have the potential to turn into Bianca Belair versus Naomi, in order to buy time for Jade's return. It looks like there's a solid chance that this current story could morph into a longer version and spin-off of what they initially did with Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. Towards the start of that story, Becky, being one half of the tag team champions, had her partner attacked backstage, and Trish Stratus stepped up to defend the titles with Becky. But that partnership only lasted one night, and Trish turned on Becky Lynch right after that first title defense together. So what if the Bianca and Naomi situation could be a stretched out version of that similar scenario? Instead of Bianca and Naomi splitting apart during their first title defense together like Becky and Trish, maybe we'll get to see them spend a decent amount of time together. They're happy, they got great chemistry and all as well. But then maybe that's when more hints will come out and Bianca Belair will slowly discover the truth that it was Naomi who attacked Jade Cargill. And by then and after learning that, Bianca is obviously not going to feel the same way about Naomi that she does right now. So they'll stop teaming up, Naomi will give her explanation, and Bianca will obviously seek retribution against Naomi on behalf of her real tag team partner, Jade Cargill. Naomi did just say that she has had a crazy history with the tag team titles, so a situation like this would add onto that crazy history pretty perfectly. But what are your thoughts on today's stories, and who is your updated #1 suspect for the Jade Cargill backstage attack? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.